Thank you, Group Captain. Always a pleasure being at the MMA, and like the tagline which is often mentioned, readers are leaders. So our journey is to make sure that we keep imbibing new intelligence that's available in the form of books. And we've been doing this for a reasonable amount of period and hope we've been able to add value and inspire more people to get into reading to enhance knowledge. With that, I just want to take a moment to thank Raji and Sydney Murli for being here. It takes a lot to invest time to read a book and then come and spend an evening sharing it with all of you. So thank you so much, both of you, for being here. As the person who has chosen this book, one of the desire of why I thought this book was relevant is that we always tend to believe that there is something more that is possible by all of us in whatever walks of life. I think specifically about me, if I look at my own self-assessment of what I've done in life and what I continue to do, I always believe there is something better that I can do. And there's always a gap between what I think is possible and what I'm currently doing. And I think that applies to many of us as well. So how do we bridge that gap? How do we kind of be that best potential of what we can do was always an intriguing thought. And when this book came along, The Hidden Potential, I kind of made sure that I reserved it for a discussion so that forces me to read this as well. So I'm going to start by giving a small introduction about Adam Grant, who is the author of this book. So Adam is actually a Wharton Business School's top-rated professor for 7 years. He's an organizational management thinker, and he's written multiple books in this genre relating to motivation and how we can kind of go on to achieve better things. Books like Think Again, Originals, and Give and Take have been bestsellers in their own genre. But coming back to The Hidden Potential, I think it's important to understand that there are gaps in all our performances. And sometimes we relegate it to the fact that we think, potential of the 100% potential is reached by a very few people who are champions, right, in various fields. In sports, it's easy to look at people, and we believe that is only due to the talent that somebody possesses. And the author goes on to rebuke that and says there is a framework that is available for all of us to follow. And that framework, if we kind of use, I think then we can all kind of achieve greater success in whatever state of work that we choose. So I'm going to pause here and I'm going to kind of invite my two eminent speakers and guests to share their initial thoughts on the book. And can I invite the lady first, Raji, to please give your initial thoughts on reading the book and what you thought. Just speak.
Check. A very good evening to all of you here and those of you who have taken the time to watch this online. So thank you, Babu, for this opportunity, because I think this platform has given me the opportunity, the chance to uncover my own hidden potential as a reader. So for someone who was a very voracious reader from her young age for almost 20 years, I should say my reading has taken a backseat over the last 7-8 years. It's been a disaster, really. I hardly read about 2 or 3 books a year. And if you make a list of the 10 books that I've read in the last 10 books that I've read, 6 or 7 would be fiction. And most of it would have been my attempt to keep up pace with my daughter's contemporary choice of reading today. So when Babu invited me for this program and said, he asked me to join this, and I received the book 2 weeks earlier, my first reaction was to get into panic mode, full panic mode. Because when I saw those 250 pages, I was not sure how I was even going to read it in the next couple of weeks, forget internalizing it, processing it, and sharing my thoughts on it. So I thought I'll just type a message to him, give him enough time to invite someone else. But then I was too proud to do that too. So there was one more thing which, kind of urged me to give this a shot. So the author, again, a couple of years back in 2023, by some force of circumstances, I was introduced to Think Again by the same author. And I know he has this particular pattern and fashion. What Adam Grant does is he opens with a very fascinating story. So you don't even know, you think you're reading fiction, there is the story which unfolds, and then you want to know how it happened and how it ended. Then he glues in the right kind of lessons. Then he also, lends it tremendous credibility with lot of research data. Then he throws in the right amount of charts, the quotes, and then he connects that original story to all these points. And finally, he ends it with very impactful, at the same time, simple action points. This is the pattern that he follows. And I thought once I start the book, Grant would kind of absorb me into it, and he didn't fail me. So I went about, and the last few days I've even been looking forward to being here. So the crux of this book is about something called character skills, which is so we all give attention to cognitive skills, math, science, and all that. But he talks of 4 character skills, and I'm going to talk about how these character skills actually help me read that book itself. So first, he talks of being proactive. So once I decided I'm going to come to this program, I just made a plan. Everything works for me that way. I said there are 9 chapters, so I will read 1 chapter every working day, and I'll do 2 chapters in the weekend and finish the book in 7-8 days. And then I was very pro-social about it. I went and told a lot of people I'm doing this book reading. I told friends, family, and so then there was no exit option. When you announce something, you have to do it. Then I was very, very disciplined about it. Once I decided, I reduced my digital time, which is, the most important distraction for any reader. Digital time, I didn't watch any OTT. I put my phone away. I read, reread, and one day if I had to miss, I made it up the next day. And I kind of inspired myself. I will go back and Google the actual stories, compare the facts. In fact, I was fascinated by that rescue of the miners in Chile. So I went back and compared. And this is how I ended up reading the entire book. So that's what Adam Grant did to me. And character skills, that's what they do to you. So we'll talk more about.
Thank you, Raji. Thank you. Absolutely. Character skills is a very, very important foundation of the book that gets started. Murli, your initial thoughts on the book.
Thank you, Babu. How many of you read the book in the audience? All right. I think we hopefully, yeah, I can see a group captain there. But I think this is something, hopefully we'll leave you end of this session to let you read the book. Okay. When I read the book, and thanks, Babu, for pulling me in, I have a similar situation like what Raji mentioned. I used to always read a book every day, even if it's half a page. But the last 2 years has been very hectic for me. And Babu just brought me back to reading, and I'm so grateful to you, Babu, seriously. I run an IT software company. It's crazy, end of the year, so many things going on. Small company, you end up doing everything. But this came and I said, should I take it up? I took it up. And I'll come to the book and what Babu asked about initial thoughts. Character skills really hit me hard because I've always believed that in life, again, through experience, you need to be street smart. That's my fundamental belief. And this is more for the youngsters who are here, who are yet to hit the bigger highway in your life, be it working or having a family or juggling family and work. You need to be street smart. And India as a country, most people are street smart, right? How many of you ride two-wheelers here? You know how to beat the traffic, beat the red light and go. That is, everybody's nodding. That is being street smart. So to me, character skills are nothing but being street smart. I used to tell my daughter that I don't care whether you get first rank or second rank, but I want you to be in a position where if there is an issue like a disaster or a difficult situation, you need to know how to navigate, get out of it, and do what is the right thing. Many places, many countries, I lived in Singapore, Australia, USA, and India. Some of these countries, people just panic. But people from, let's say, some of the Asian countries, they know how to get out of that situation and do what is the right thing. That is character skills. And that has been told beautifully by Adam in this book. And one thing which resonated for me is being polyglot. Polyglot is people who can speak a few languages or can understand a few languages. And the way he described it is fascinating to me because it's happened to me. It was like I was looking into a mirror. Is this me? He's describing. Because when you try to learn a language, a new language, you struggle, you don't know, you make mistakes. And what Adam is saying is people who succeed, and he's taken 2 examples in the book, they were paranoid, but they came out of that comfort zone to a discomfort zone. And they stayed there to learn whatever the language was. And I used to do that. I didn't realize I'm in a discomfort zone until I read this book. Even today, I'll break into my broken Telugu or Mandarin just to learn the language. I will make mistake and the other person will correct me. That registers, that stays with me. And for me, it has become natural to be in that discomfort zone. Language is an example. But then I look at my life. I've been working in the industry for over 35 years now. Everywhere I do something new and something different. Even being here today with Babu is something new for me. So I guess I'm used to the discomfort. I'm not saying I've done anything huge, but that is a great story, which I take it as a takeaway, reading the first chapter in the book. Babu, I'll pause here.
Just hold the mic, Sydney. I'm going to come back to you for reaction. So this book is broadly divided into 3 sections, so to say. One is, like he's talked about, character skills. The other is structures of motivation. As group captain mentioned, the concept of scaffolding and how you kind of take support. And the third is build systems of opportunities. How do you kind of use this as an opportunity and then make the big change? So these are broadly the 3 topics that we had. So I'm going to come to Sydney. Out of all these 3 topics, and within that, a lot of subtopics are there of discomfort and what you mentioned. Can you give us something that deeply resonated with you based on your life experience? You did speak about being a person who learns languages, therefore you adopted. You had, obviously, whenever you learn a new language, you go through periods of discomfort when, you obviously reveal your ignorance to another and therefore stand to get corrected. And it's awkward many a time. I understand that. But are there any other things that kind of caught your attention, resonated with your past experience? If you could share, that would be great.
So many. I used to do this even in a customer meeting in China or wherever I was, break into a broken Mandarin and I'm making all the mistakes. But that helped me break the ice with the customer, build relationship. So the discomfort has become default for me, probably because as a kid, I was living in different cities. My father was getting transferred and I'm picking new cultures, new skills, new languages. There are lots, Babu, but I want to talk about something from the book again. The group of 13, right? What do they call them? Golden 13. Yeah. Golden 13, I really request all of you to read the book. To me, I could not put the book down. I had to put it down because I wake up at 5 a.m. for tennis. And it's only in the night time I got to read. And I'm trying not to see TV with my wife. And I said, no, I'm not watching. As Raji said, yeah. So the Golden 13 reminded me of a movie also called Escape to Victory. How many of you have seen that? Yeah, it's a very old movie where the movie was about footballers in a prison and they escaped from there. And they had all the big football players like Pele and others starring in it. The key in this book about this Golden 13 is about team building, helping each other. I'm putting it in simple English. Team building, helping each other, watching for the other person, coming together and doing something which they never expected they will do. This 13, in a short nutshell, were the first black folks who were selected to be joining the US Navy back in those days. They were the first black. And they kept saying, we have to come out of this training so good because we have more than 100,000 blacks looking up at us. So there was a lot of motivational requirement, inspirational needs for the next generation, but at the same time, it was a very tough training for them in Navy. And none of the white folks believed they will crack it. They cracked it. Today, in the US Navy, somebody has to go and join. They go to this Golden 13 room, something like this, I guess, and they start the training from there. What they told me was that you don't have to be number one in a class or college. They were all average people, but they came together. And I want you to read the book. I don't want to tell too much about the techniques used or what they did, which Adam then summarizes later on. You need to know that the teamwork was exceptional, just like Escape to Victory. The team was, they covered for each other. They rallied for each other. They used to read in the night after lights were off, after 10:30 p.m. to midnight in the bathroom under one light, so that the folks did not know that they are working extra. So it was not only working hard, but they were working smart also. So that's something I had a great takeaway, and which I try to apply in my life at work. I lead a team, so I need to make sure, can I use some of those? Can we get these team members to, open up, come together, we rally for each other. And there are a lot of sport analogies in this. And I'm a great sport. I'm a cricket coach. I do a lot of sports myself. Reminded me of the Australian cricket team in the 90s. Reminded me of the West Indies team in the 70s and 80s, who did great. And they all came together with one cause, So I'll pause here and give it back to you, Babu.
Thank you. Thank you, Sydney. And I'm going to flow over to the same question to Raji. Many of these topics, when you read, and especially after many years of experience in life and professionally and otherwise, we tend to kind of sit back and think about our own experiences in life. And for me, there were a couple of takeaways that I want to talk about. Before I do that, I wanted to get your thoughts on some of these thoughts and ideas.
Actually, when I was reading the first few, as he said, it's segregated into 3 broad sections. The first few sections, the one thing that I kept recalling was my own journey over the last 15 years in fitness and my physical health and well-being. So around, for about 2 decades, I was a couch potato, total inertia to physical activity, because I was not tuned like that. If you tell me exercise, I will solve a crossword puzzle or Sudoku. If you ask me about playing, I'll play Candy Crush online. So that was what I was. But at some point, but today, if you look at me, like fitness is a part of my identity. Anyone who knows me would endorse that. And so this transformation, how did this happen? When I recall this journey, I could draw a lot of parallels with the decode that the author has constructed. So basically what Adam Grant is saying is, in order to achieve anything, as Murli was mentioning, you have to become a creature of discomfort. So growing involves summoning the nerve. He calls it a courage itself, summoning the nerve to become uncomfortable. That's what he says. And I think that's what happened with me. So because initially, I used to always start something, do something, and then give it up halfway, cook up a lot of excuses. I don't have time. I'm managing my work and family. I have to travel. I'll do this after this particular event is over. And in fact, he quotes procrastination as the primary enemy. Our mind is like a monkey, it always picks what's easy rather than something which is hard, but which is what is needed. So this was what I was doing for several years. And then, but at the same time, I recall that I was not fully giving up. So I will always again find some excuse to pick it up again. This is what he calls, you turn this grind into a source of joy. So I used to always look for a partner to start something. I'll find group classes. I will find group challenges or something like this. And I was getting back till it kind of became a habit, a lifestyle. Today, it's not a choice for me, it's become a lifestyle. And today, I can confidently say I'm stronger and healthier than I ever was in my 30s. So this journey, when I compared with what he said, it resonated the most with me. And in that, he talks of one more thing. Why do kids learn faster? We all know that when we are younger, we learn faster. Not younger as in much younger. Kids learn faster, not just because they have an open mind or anything. The most important factor is they are not afraid of making mistakes, or they do not have fear of being embarrassed in front of others. So this also I have gone through. So when I join some Zumba classes, I will miss several steps. My yoga poses in the early stages were to laugh at. And if we are talking of embarrassment, that would be my badminton journey throughout. For about 2 years, I played badminton during weekends, and I could not smash the ball or pace it. I could never run or cover. The guys who played with me, used to indulge me. They used to treat me as a rest game during, in between their intense plays. But I just, it is for someone who's used to excelling. I'm very sorry. These people were talking of all the first rank holders who don't make it big. I was that front bencher who got smirked at. But so for someone like that, this was very, very tough. This journey of not doing something right in spite of, because I had no bad ball coordination, nothing. But I went through that entire period. Looking at myself failing so miserably, but still sticking to it, because that was the one chance that I had for burning calories, So it resonated with a lot of things that the author has written about, where he says, but I just wish I had read the book 10 years earlier so that I would have saved a lot of backtracking and recouping. But in my personal journey, I thought that made a lot of sense, and whatever lessons he's talked of.
Thank you, Raji. So I'm just going to give you two stories that I thought kind of caught my attention and kind of deeply made me think about. The first one is about discomfort, right? So we are all we all seek a certain level of comfort in whatever we do. We want to be in that space. We like that space. But growth rarely happens in comfort. Growth always happens in discomfort. And I've come to realize in my personal journey that whenever I've gone out of my comfort zone and did something, while it was very, very difficult to make that move first, and maybe even that initial journey was very difficult, the outcome has always been far better than what I ever imagined. So I've realized that whenever we need to grow ourselves, it's like the banyan tree. Nothing grows under the banyan tree. You have to go outside. You have to be exposed to the elements for you to really grow. So that I think personally, I could kind of resonate very, very well. The other thing is, like Raji said, how do we make anything fun, right? If you did something just because you wanted to do it or you have to do it, at some point you lose motivation, right? And we've all seen this. I am all of 55 years of age. I hit my gym most mornings, right? And gym routines can be very, very boring after a certain point in time, if you know what I mean, right? But what we have done in my group is most of my colleagues in the gym at that point in time, in the early morning group, are all in our early 50s. One of the things we have done in the last few months is we have bought a music system, and we play the hits of Ilayaraja, because all of us come from that era, right? So 6 o'clock onwards to 7 o'clock, there is Ilayaraja hits playing on the music, and we go about. There are some days when I don't go to lift weights, when I just go to listen to music. Yeah, so the idea is that you don't go to that place thinking that I just want to go exercise. You go to that place because you love being there, you enjoy being there, and you enjoy the whole routine. And I found that ever since we started this routine, I regularly miss classes. Therefore, there's a higher motivation to attend the gym classes. And since you're there in the gym, you're also working out. Therefore, your overall outcomes are far better than if you're only rigorously working out. So that's a beautiful chapter that he talks about. When I read that story of how he mentioned it, it really resonated with my own gym routine, and I thought it's a fantastic. You should not, or the author is very, very categorical that don't do anything because you need to do. Make it fun. Like Raji said, make it happen as a child would do, so that you enjoy the journey rather than just trying to do it for itself. So I thought that was a great way. So going forward, yeah, please.
Yeah, just to add to Babu, he said 55. I'm 58, and this morning I went to play tennis, and I said, "Come what may, I'm playing tennis today." That motivation factor is to get out and do a forehand or backhand slice, whatever. That runs in my mind like Ilayaraja for him. That makes me get up and go, and I feel really good after the workout. In between sets, I go to the gym. So gym is not the main, tennis is the main. But the key thing I'm trying to say is we try to enjoy. So whether it's workout routine or work routine or study routine, I see a lot of students here too. Try and bring a fun element. And Adam brings that in the later stages of the book, talking about PISA kind of exam, and how Finland has done remarkably well with educating kids with a lot of fun. So this book I would definitely recommend for teachers and students, especially teachers, to understand how to differentiate between top rankers versus middle layer folks. Many teachers know, experienced teachers know, and also some tips and tricks on how to manage kids in school, how to do something differently. So I really encourage all of you to read. Many of us are still students in life. I'm still a student. I'm learning something different now in terms of my own lifestyle. So I really encourage you to do that. So that fun element, I think Babu mentioned very well. Thank you, Babu, for.
Thank you, Sydney. So just hold your mic. I want to kind of, now that all three of us has read the book, I'm sure there are 2 or 3 things that you think, wow, this kind of lights a bulb in your mind, and you said, I want to implement this, or I want to kind of imbibe this from the next word go. So are there anything in the book that you think you need to imbibe, or you already imbibing towards achieving your hidden potential, your next big thing?
Yeah, so I would say 3 things maybe. You're just putting me on the spot. One is telling people to come out of the comfort zone, be in the discomfort zone. Whatever they're doing, be at work, be at home, be at school, or be at wherever you are. I will try and implement this as much as I can for myself. So people, and I'll tell them, listen, this is not comfortable for me, but I'm going to try. For example, I can't sing well. I'm very conscious I can't sing well. People say I can sing. So I'm going to try that. Get into the discomfort zone. Babu knows that. Babu is a better singer than me. But then I love to dance. Dance is my second nature. So that is comfort zone for me. That's an example. I will do that at work. I'll tell my own staff to, take an example from the book and do that. Second is scaffolding. He talks about scaffolding. People know what is scaffolding, right? When you are doing some work in a building, they put those scaffolding and then they get work done, right? Adam talks about scaffolding to develop people as an individual and as a team or as a group, students, kids, etc. I'm going to consciously do a lot more scaffolding wherever I can, be it at home or at work or among friends or at sports, where sometimes I'm playing doubles. I'm going to tell them, I'm taking a sports example, easier to. I'm going to see how can I help my partner win this point. Just taking a simple example, right? So that's scaffolding I'm going to spend a lot more consciously, thanks to Adam. And the third one is what I like is the fun element more, especially at work. I'm always fun-loving. People know that. People say, hey, you don't look that age. I said, and I ask myself why. It's because I think I leave problem there and then move on, don't carry too much. But doesn't happen all the time. We all worry for so many things, right? I want to reduce that, not for me, but people around me, at least at work. If they get into fun, if you are trying to get a sale, new customer, and we do it with the fun element built into it, whatever it is. If you want to crack an exams there, And if 2-3 of you come together and bring some fun element, be it Ilayaraja, be it Dabangutu Pattu, whatever works for you, right? You get that, I can guarantee you will do better than where you are today. That's what he's saying. I want you all to try that. So these 3 things I will try, Babu.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you, Sydney. Raji, what are the 2 or 3, whichever, whatever be the number, that you think you're going to take away from this book and kind of put it to use, if you're already doing it also, whichever?
So, if I'm going to think of things which I have to implement, one thing is normally when you read any self help book, we always assume the attempt is to make us perfect, right? But Grant spends one whole chapter berating perfectionism. You know, while it's debatable whether I'm a perfectionist itself, but I see a lot of traits that in myself that he mentions that we should avoid. So I have this habit of obsessing over tiny problems and overthinking. And in some cases, focusing on finding solutions for small issues and sometimes missing the bigger picture. So this is something by reading those examples and stories I found that I was doing. For example, I would revisit and keep doing the same one project or one report again till, and at the end of it, still remain unsatisfied with it. So he calls this the perfectionist spiral. And he says at some point when you keep repeating this, you are again stuck in a zone because you're not going to want to make mistakes. So that restricts your comfort zone, brings down your comfort zone. And at some point, you will not want to do anything new. So I really got scared reading that. So I think the solution that he offers in that is something called mind time travel. So he says when you're doing something or when you're evaluating something that you've done, instead of looking at it today, he just asks you to take a step in time back and then look at it. Your past self is looking at what you have done today. And that would give you perspectives on whether you have improved or progressed, and that should be enough. So I think I'm going to definitely practice that. And in my interactions with my client, I'm going to introduce that so that it could be a great morale booster for someone to, we always think of what has happened today and what we need to do. So if we can go back and, look at where we are today from where we were earlier, I think that would be a very nice thing to do. So that time travel I'm going to practice. And one more thing which was coming naturally to me for several years, which again kind of lost touch now, is teaching. He says, teach what you want to learn. That is the best way to learn. Even if you're not a master, keep teaching. I've always done that right from my 6th standard. So now I've consciously decided to be proactive about it, take on more opportunities where I can share my knowledge is what I've decided to do. So these are the couple of things. But one thought which struck me, just one line. So many of us have difficult days or difficult. So